everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today I'm going to be coming back with more recent reads. So I'm going to be talking about 5 books that I have recently read or not so recently read because I'm really bad at this. And yes, but before we get into this video, I'm going to be honest. I have to find a better way to do this because this book that I first talked about, I think I read this maybe February, January, and now it's, not that, it's July. Wait, no, I think I read this in March. Anywho, I read it a long time ago, so I really hardly remember the details. So I'm going to be trying to find a different way to talk about these books. Maybe somewhat in between what I did with book reviews and in between this. I don't know. We'll see. But I've talked too much. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, onto the video. The first book I want to talk about is The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Waite. This is the first book in the Feminine Pursuits trilogy series, whatever it is. And I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars because I didn't like it. Brief non-spoilery part is that there is basically this girl and her girlfriend gets married to a man, and so now she's like distraught. And so her dad was, an astronomer, he studied the sky and the stars and whatnot. And so her dad, who has died, was being contacted to see who could in fact write this book, a translation for like other, astronomers. But because she's a woman, they're like, nah, you can't do that. And so it's her trying to figure that out, as well as her finding love. So if that sounds interesting, read the book. But I didn't like it. But maybe you would. So let me just talk about the few reasons why I did not like this book and why I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Number 1, I strongly did not like the love interest. I was really hoping, since this was my first sapphic book, that it was, gonna give what it was supposed to have gave, but it didn't. I was very upset. So Lucy, main character, she does what she does. Catherine is her love interest. And basically, sis is old, but she's not really old. She's like mid to late 20s, early 30s max. And it's really annoying to me because every 5 seconds she's like, oh, my life is over. Oh, I can no longer do anything. And what you can be like, oh, that was a sign of the time when you were in your mid to late 30s, was like your life was over. But her aunt, who's not really her aunt, that was actually in love with her mom, she's like way older than Catherine, and she doesn't act like, oh, my life's over, I have no purpose, ew. And so she just really annoyed me. Like, girl, you're like 30, okay? You got at least 10 more years. At least. So, ooh, she was a mess. Number 2, oh my gosh, there was a lot of patriarchy, and I know why there was patriarchy, but some of the patriarchy was annoying and served no purpose. Like when her brother, Lucy's brother, showed that it was her who had written the book or the adaptation of, not Moliere's work, but a French person's work. He was like, oh, let me draw this painting and then sell it. And so he got money off of it. But then no one wanted to read her book because they didn't know that it was written by a woman because she used like L. last name, And so I was like, dude, you're her brother. Like, let's come around. And then he apparently off page, he apologized, but it wasn't really the apology that we needed. And so if you're going to have patriarchy and show that how patriarchy can infiltrate the family, then I need to see like good remedification. I need to see, I don't know. I didn't like it. Also, I feel like everything was all over the place. Like, oh my gosh, I'm even just thinking about it now, how there was this one servant who worked for Catherine, but then she was getting bullied because she was like the youngest worker, but she was getting, but she was the youngest servant, so she was getting, a lot of the good things, and so they ended up like trading her to somebody else, and she was flourishing there, and I was like, this seems like really unimportant and really unrelated. Why was this necessary to bring up? I feel like you need to focus on the love story and the book. Those are the only 2 things you should be worrying about. Third, I did not like the ending of when they found out who wrote the book. I can't remember what the book is, who wrote the book, but it was basically a French last name. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm gonna say Moliere. I know that is not who wrote it, but I'm gonna say Moliere. So, come to find out, I knew this because I was like, it has to be a woman, right? What I didn't expect is for it to be a black woman. And this is my issue because it's like they were going to use Moliere to basically be like, well, if we can let her in, then clearly we have to let Lucy in. Which feels like if we have to let the black girl in, then we have to let this white girl in. Which, in that case, all it does is what? Tokenizes this black woman and uses this black woman for the sole purpose of what? Helping this white woman accomplish her dreams. Which I don't like. So, yes. Oh, and then another thing, last thing that I can remember off the top of my dome, because I have forgotten so much. Maybe I just went into this book with the wrong expectations. You know, maybe because what I thought that Lucy was going to engage in an affair with her ex-girlfriend, while her ex-girlfriend was still married. I thought that was the plot. I was wrong. Although the ex-girlfriend did come back like, I still love you. I was like, girl, aren't you married? I mean, I know that's exactly what I wanted, but still, it's like, this is a mess. So, anywho, I don't know. I don't think I'll be finishing this trilogy series, whatever it is. Next book. And the next book is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because it is perfect. Okay, main characters, Jacob, Eve, they fall in love. It's perfect, it's amazing, read it now. Okay, so that's really all you need to know if you want to read it. So getting into quasi-spoilers, well actually no, not quasi-spoilers, these are like spoilers. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Oh, I love Enemies to Lovers. Enemies to Lovers is my jam. Oh my gosh, when she hit him with her car, I'm just kidding. But I mean, like, I was like, girl, how you hit a whole human with your car? But anywho, oh my gosh, they're so cute. And so basically, he owns a bed and breakfast, and she ends up cooking for him, and oh, it's so cute. But because, she hit him with her car, he can't do things he would normally do, so now she has to, like, quote unquote, pick up the slack. And so she's making breakfast at the bed and breakfast, and she's helping, fold sheets, and they're falling in love, and it's cute, whatever's. Now, one thing I will say about romance, which I guess I just have to get over because all romances have it, is the third act drama. This third act drama was wild. Like, literally, her entire family, mind you, black family, pulled up like, yo, we just checking in on you because it seems like you're in a cult. It seems like you're in a cult with this man. A very, sensual cult with this man. And we want to know what's going on. Can you imagine your family pulling up because they think you're in a cult? A mess. It's a mess. But oh my gosh, this is so good. I may reread it. Because there's this one scene where Jacob was just really secure. And I like that about him. Oh my gosh. It's a great book. I really will probably reread this. Oh, it's so good. I need to reread all of them. Now that I've acquired this book, I need to acquire the other 2 books so I can have the complete collection. I'm really mad because as soon as I bought this paperback, they're like, oh, we have announced that we're going to be doing hardcover. Wasn't it Fairy Week or something? I was like, oh, of course you would. But it's perfect. I love it. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, it's so cute. Just remembering, like, and how Jacob, like, was like, oh, she's been here working. Maybe I should hook her up with, some of my friends, my friends' sisters so she can have a girls' night. Oh, that was cute. And then the end, oh, cute. When they're, on the side of the road, in love. And you know what? Remember that, on the side of the road, in love. Remember that. Next book, oh, I love this book so much. When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. Oh my gosh, I love this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's so good. Basically, if you want to know, the premise is there's this girl, Dimple, and she got into Stanford. But her family's like, oh, you need to find the ideal Indian husband. Well, mostly her mom. And so they're like, oh, go to this San Francisco thing. And she's like, oh my gosh, they're actually letting me and believe in my dreams. Come to find out, they had actually set up for Rishi, who they have basically picked for them to be in an arranged marriage. He's going to be in San Francisco, which is the only reason why they said yes. So then they meet in San Francisco, and it's so cute. So if that sounds interesting, read it. What I will say before we get into the spoilers is I am seething, okay? This book came out years ago, like 2017, 2016, 2018, those kind of years, okay? Why did it just now pop off on like BookTube and Book Twitter like last year? I know why, because of the push for diversity, but it's like, are you serious? This book really should have been, you know, flying, okay? Because it's so good. And I can't wait to read the rest of them, especially, I think the next one is about Rishi's brother, but ooh, I'm excited. So now, spoilers, slight spoilers, if I can remember any of the details. One, that book date was so cute. Aw, it wasn't a book date, but like they went to a restaurant like he had scoped out, where he knew like at the restaurant you can like look at books. And so then he actually had ordered books that he knew that she would like. And so, oh, and I remember when he got that book, the book that let me try to explain this without, you know, getting all emotional. But, and so at the date, like you usually can't take the books home, but so he knew what books he wanted to pick out, so he bought them and had them at the date. And one of the books was A Wrinkle in Time, which is the book that she was reading when they met for the first time. And he was making those flowers, those paper flowers out of magazines. Oh, they had a meet cute. They had a meet cute. Oh, it's adorable. Oh, I love it. Okay, and then one of the things that really annoyed me was the fact that like Dimple and Rishi lost the app competition because the other people's daddies had like built the wing of the place. Yes. Now, Dimple was irritating me. And once again, girl, if you don't want the IIH, then that's you. But girl, move to the back. Because this man is trying to love you, and it's taking you too long to let this man love you. Okay, like literally, sis, I mean, you should figure it out. And especially with the story in the end, I was like, girl, what do you want? Do you know what you want with this man? Because this man is ready, okay? He is ready. He knows what he wants. And you're out here like, I don't know. Please. Maybe I'm just little. But I was like, girl, get it together. Okay, this next book is a good one. So the next book I am talking about is Ace of Spades by Faridah Àbíké-Íyímídé. Yes. Oh my gosh. This is such a good debut novel. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Oh, it was so good. So basically, let me tell you what it is. It's basically, I think someone describes it as Get Out meets high school. Basically, there are 2 black people at this white school. And that's all you need to know. Okay, spoilers! Okay, y'all, let's talk about these characters, okay? First character that I need to talk about, Jamie, okay? Jamie is a mess. And you know, at first I thought it was just, you know, dude whose name starts with a J, mess, but oh, he's a racist. Let's start off. So at the beginning, it's the first day of school, and at the first day of school, you know, you have to go to all these annoying assemblies. So this assembly is gonna name, you know, all the head prefects, you know, the prefects for the rest of the senior class. So the 2 black people are prefects. Now everyone was expecting Chiamaka, the girl, to be, you know, head prefect. She's been head prefect since sophomore year, but everyone's like, Devon, he's the prefect? Well, that's what Devon was thinking, not knowing what the plan was. Also, they got a new headmaster. Remember that. Okay, so at the end of the day, bruh, a picture of Devon kissing his ex-boyfriend gets dropped, okay? And it's by this person named Aces, you know? And so it's like, oh, what's going on? And you know, because Devon lives in a very homophobic neighborhood, he's like, if they see this, or if they see other stuff that exists, it could be bad for me. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, look at this drama tea. And so also Chiamaka, so basically she is, you know, queen bee, but she's primed to be the queen bee. And you know, the way to do that in high school is to have the perfect life, the perfect grades, the perfect boy. And so her best friend, Jamie, she's like, oh my gosh, together forever. So let's just jump. So she thinks that like he's gonna propose, well not propose, but like that he's gonna ask her out, right? And so she's going on to her friends who aren't really her friends, like, oh my gosh, it's finally gonna happen. And literally, this is why I thought he was just, trash because his name started with J. When she's like, oh, I thought you were going to tell me that, like, you wanted to be with me and not this girl, Belle. Because apparently he says he found the one with Belle. Or is her name Bella? It's something. Belle, I think. And so he was like, oh, I don't see you in that way. I call bull. I call so much bull because I can imagine being my girl. And she's like, oh, you don't see her in that way? So what was going on for the past year when y'all were hooking up in your bedroom? Like, what do you mean you don't see her in that way? Like, oh my gosh, dude's a mess. And so then there's another incident where basically Chiamaka and he are at like this candy store, and basically she steals, or the guy at the store is like catching her like stealing liquor. She's like, I didn't steal this, like stop racially profiling me. And then that's when she first knows Jamie was like, kind of, but I thought it was just because, he was like, but no, dude's a mess. Okay, so then more bad things happen. Literally, they dropped Devon's tape that he made with his then ex-boyfriend. And they want to talk about how Devon's currently dating a drug dealer. So then the drug dealer boyfriend has to separate from him. And I was like, oh no, so sad because they were so cute. And then the drug dealer ends up in jail. I don't know how that happened. Okay, but let's go back because Devon had a friend, Jack, his white friend named Jack. And like, they were like, they were cool, they were A1 day one. But because when the photos of Devon dropped kissing his then ex-boyfriend, Jack was like, ooh, I gotta separate from you because, we live in the same neighborhood and I don't want them to think that and then beat my people up. That's what he was said. And that's what Devon was like, oh, okay, I kind of get that because, the neighborhood is not, the best or whatnot. So then, Devon, he's really getting a lot of steam. Next, Chiamaka, another thing that bad happened to her is like literally there's this one party where she was drunk and they were basically like these evasive pictures of her like being drunk and on the floor with like all these like blonde Barbies around her. And so that photo ended up being like plastered all across the school. And so then Chiamaka told the headmaster like, yo, somebody is bullying us. And then flash drives appear in their lockers and they put them in there for other people. So then the headmaster's like, both of y'all are actually aces, so all of your rights have been taken away. Like, you're no longer head prefects or whatnot. And Chiamaka's like, what? Like, I've never, like, been in trouble. So, anywho, let's cut to, like, the important part. The important part is they have found a friend, well, not a friend, but they have found a hacker, and the hacker says that the person sending the messages, aces, is sending them from the school library at this time. Now, another thing that's weird is that they're sending them before the crimes have happened, i.e., they programmed the message to send on Sunday about Chiamaka stealing something when they weren't at the candy store until Tuesday. So it was like, clearly something is up, it's fishy. So, they're in the library, and mind you, whole time going back, Chiamaka is being plagued by this memory of when she and Jamie were leaving some type of party or something, and Jamie's driving and he hits a girl and she's like, we have to call police, we have to make sure she's okay. And Jamie's like, no, we're leaving now. So she's like been like plagued with grief, thinking that she's killed someone, okay? And all that stuff. So then they're at the library. They see aces. Someone cloaked as aces to get to the library. They tackle aces. And Chiamaka's freaking out because it's the girl that she hit. Wild. And so then, Chiamaka tries to chase after her and it's a whole thing. So Devin is looking at the laptop and Devin is noticing this website, it has all the school values. But then all the school values work and it basically says N-words die. But it doesn't actually say N-words. It says like the actual N-words die. Is basically what has happened. And basically, he sees like all these archives of all the black people that have been in the school that somehow suspiciously drop out their senior year. And he saw like the first black girl where basically they took nude pictures of her and they plastered it everywhere. But they don't know what happened to her. We still don't know what happened to sis. It's alleged that, but we still don't know. And so Devon's like, I need to take all these pictures. I need evidence, okay? But the website starts closing, so he takes all these pictures. And so, now, let me tell you that like all these people thought that they had friends. So another thing is Devon was trying to get into NYU, and so he was relying on his music teacher to help him. Devon's like, yo, I'm still so excited to apply to NYU. And the music teacher's like, NYU, you're not gonna be able to get into NYU, like especially with their poor academic record. And Devon's like, what are you talking about? Because you said that you would get that taken care of. And then the music teacher was like, you should never trust someone to do things for you. And he's like, someone like you is never going to get into NYU. Like, you know, you. And so Devon's like, I'm getting out of this. I'm leaving. I am jumping ship, as he should. So then Chiamaka's there, and I don't know how Sis gets out, but Sis gets out. Now, while all this is happening, Belle, the girl who was with Jamie, some conflict back in the day is that Aces released that Chiamaka was trying to break them up. That's not what happened. But anywho, so then basically Chiamaka and Belle start hanging out and becoming friends because Belle realizes that Jamie is actually, you know, a terrible person, which I could have told you because his name starts with what? J. And his name starts with J. He's what? For the streets. So then somehow Chiamaka and Belle, they get together. And I'm like, at first I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. Like, I kind of vibe with this, you know? And at first I'm like, oh, okay, Chiamaka finally getting some love, you know, some real love. But then when they're doing further analysis of the pictures that they took, because Devon had noticed that there were tasks for everyone to complete, and one of the tasks had the initials JK, which were the initials of his best friend, Jack. Maybe it was JK, it was J something, that's what it was. And so there were other initials as well, right? And so he's realizing that everyone is like in on this. We're starting to think that like all people are in on this, right? And so then something happens where Chiamaka, after she sees the girl, she's on Facebook and she sees the same girl and notices that girl is who? Belle's sister. The girl who fake died is Belle's sister. So then Chiamaka and Devon are like, you know what, we have to propose a plan because like clearly something's going down. So Chiamaka's like, you know what, let's talk out to a reporter. Mind you, there's another black guy. What's his name? Is his name Trey? His name is Trey, I think. And Devon and Trey, they start dating towards the end of the book. So, oh my gosh, it's so complex. Such a good book. Oh, it was so good. But then Devon, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna just tweet this off, send a couple quick things. And so before that, Chiamaka was like, what is going on? What is this Aces thing to Belle, right? And Belle's like, you know what? This is just part of my family. This is a tradition that we all have. All the white people at the school go to this camp where they're all Aces, and we plan on how to get rid of the black people. Every 10 years, we have 2 black people, and we try to get rid of them. And they called it social eugenics. It's a mess. So then clearly, you know, that relationship is not gonna work. So they talk to the reporter. The reporter's like, yeah, we're gonna bust up in there at this event. And already I'm sus. I'm like, you can't trust nobody. But you know what? I was trying to, you know, be hopeful, even though I didn't trust anybody. So then Devon and Chiamaka, they're about to infiltrate the dance where Jamie, Mr. Racist Jamie, is like, girl, you just don't know when to get out, all these types of things. And Chiamaka, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her. She's like, you know what the real problem is? The real problem is you were supposed to hate me, but you liked me. You wanted to sleep with me, and then you were mad when I took your girlfriend. I was like, Chiamaka, period, poo. Oh, I was so proud of her. Like, that is how you do it. But dude was crazy. Like, literally, he tried to, like, burn her hair, like, burn her face alive. Like, I'm so proud that she was able to get out. Then, at the end, oh my gosh, they're on the stage, and they're like, oh my gosh, reporters, you ready to go? And then she gives this grand speech about the system, and what happens? Nothing. Because guess what? The reporter was in on it all along. She was part of Aces. And then they put on these masks, and I'm like, ooh, this is a metaphor for the KKK. Well, maybe not. But then the headmaster, what does he do? He puts a gun to Chiamaka's head. And it's like, y'all gonna get out. Y'all gonna see what we did to the first girl. I was like, oh, these some racist. I was like, whoo. Oh my gosh. Now, luckily, because Devon posted what he posted on Twitter, there was a riot. Okay, people came in, busted that place up. Like, we about to take this place over. Somehow the place burned to the ground. I think Jamie did it. His little, you know, arsonist self definitely did it. And then Jamie dies. Well, my best friend knows that I say this a lot, but play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It is what it is. And so the epilogue was really cute because like they decided to create their own gifted school, and they were trying to, you know, help parents that might put their kids in these schools that also participate in social eugenics. They like reach out and be like, yo, you may want to come here because that school's racist. So things like that. And I was like, oh, it's amazing. So it was a great book. Can't wait to read more of her work. So excited. The last book I read was Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailet, and I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. A basic synopsis is, there's this guy, Travis. He was a Major League Baseball player. But then he had an injury, and so he was like a rookie, but he kept getting traded around in his injury until finally they're like, gotta go back home. And so, you know, obviously, you know, he's very, you know, overcome with grief of what his life could have been. Now there is Georgie, who is his best friend's little sister, and basically she's had a crush on him since like before she could walk, basically. That's really all you need to know. It's a romance, so you already know they're gonna get together. Spoilers. Oh my gosh. So originally, because the book was okay, I was gonna give it 4 to 5 stars, but as the book kept progressing, I became more and more and more annoyed with Travis. Like, he is just such an unlikable love interest. Like, dude has issues. And it's not even like, you know, other books where dude has issues. It's like a mess. So, I mean, some stuff, were their dates even cute? I don't even know. Like, what did they actually do as a date? Like, I know they went to the coffee shop and did what? Talk. That's what you do at coffee shops, you know. But I was like, So basically, they get together to date because he needs this gig, but he has to be wholesome because everyone knows him as Two Bats, if you catch the drift. And she wants to be seen as a grown-up because everyone treats her like a child, so she thinks pairing up with Two Bats is going to get her, you know, that attention, right? And so, yeah. Oh, wait, they did also meet at the bar. The bar was kind of cool. Basically, oh my gosh, what I will give Travis is people are really uncouth. Like, literally, this dude at the bar came up to him like, yo, I told my wife that you were her free pass, so go and take my wife somewhere. Y'all lack coup. Y'all lack so much coup. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. And Georgie stepped in like, how dare you degrade him? And, you know, objectify him. You know, he's different. And so it was like, or whatever. Now, Georgie's a clown. I kind of like that decision. I feel like it's, you know, respecting the job, because most people will be like, clown. But I feel like Tessa Bailet was like, no, clown, you know? Good. Now, while this is going on, I think the best thing was Georgie's relationship or development of her relationship with her sister, and also with Rosie. Rosie was my favorite character, period. Rosie, who was a classmate of Travis and also Travis's co-worker, because now he's working at the construction site, which Georgie's brother is over because her family owns that construction company. And so basically, yeah, Rosie, she's amazing. She's a classmate of Travis, but also like married to Travis's coworker, who's also, you know, his classmate. And they're having marital problems. But anyway, so Georgie, her sister, and Rosie, they create this club, and it's amazing. It's like girl power. Now, the crazy thing is, everybody wants to get in this club, and they think they're tearing down the patriarchy, and they're very excited about it, and they're also saying, like, done with men, and throwing away men, and they're very excited about it, so do with that what you will. The writing is on the wall. Now, let's get back to why Travis annoys me. So, this dude has some issues. My thing is, like, the fact that he told her, get ready to meet God, I'm done. My bags are packed, and I'm done. My bags are packed, and I'm done. It's a mess. And so basically, by the end of this, he ends up getting the job, and so by that time, he's like, oh, let's go on a real date. Also, before this, do y'all know how trifling y'all have to be, two grown people, to go and hook up in the dugout of the high school baseball fields? Y'all trifling. And like the whole time, I was thinking the third act drama was gonna be like photos of them in the dugout because he knows he's being followed by paparazzi. And because he's trying to get that deal and he has to be family friendly, I was like, this is gonna hurt your deal. Why are you doing this? You know you're being followed by the paparazzi. I was like, this is just so dumb and so stupid. And I was just very upset by this. And also, dude is just like really freaking weird. Like the things he says, I'm like, why would he say that? Like, why would he say it that way? And what is wrong with him? Yeah. It's not for me, sis. It's for y'all, but it's not for me. You know, like, I wasted my time. I wasted my money. I mean, I didn't pay for this. So give me my money back. That's really what this gave. But at the end of this, mind you, they decided they were going to date for real. And then Travis's father, who thought he was a deadbeat, or, you know, Travis's father, who was a deadbeat, who was always, you know, being verbally and mentally or emotionally abusive to Travis, was like, see, I see you with Georgie and you gonna ruin her. And so what does Travis say? Instead of saying, keep my woman's name out your mouth, he says, you know I was just using her to get this job. And of course, Georgie's brother overhears him and tells Georgie, like, at the event, which is 2 days after. So dude was only really dating Georgie for real for 2 days. They were fake dating for the rest of that time. I don't care if they had real feelings during that time, they were fake dating. But also, Georgie's mom, I see you, Georgie's mom. Georgie's mom was looking out for Georgie, and I vibe. So, anywho, we're at the last couple pages, and I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? How is he gonna apologize? Because, you know, that's what they do. Dude is literally on TV, on his show, his talk show, talking about I lost the best thing I had. I love Georgie. Georgie took me back. And then he wanted to pull a Derwin Davis talking about marry me, Georgie. Marriage? Marriage? You want to talk about marriage and you've only really been dating this girl for 2 real days? 2 real days. I mean, you know what? Whatever. And so basically, because he's, you know, where they are and she's where she's at, she has to drive to meet him and he's already on the bus because the game ended and she got on the road later, whatever. So they end up meeting on the road and embracing, and she says yes to his proposal. Mind you, he didn't even get on his knee. No, nothing. But anywho, he already had a ring, so I guess that was good of him to have that. So anywho, that's what happened. They're together. Everyone's on the side of the road like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. And I'm like, really? This is not how you do on the side of the road love, okay? Read actor age, Eve Brown, okay? Period. But I was just like, this is disgusting. Dude is gross. Georgie, you could do so much better. Maybe she can. But we have to hope that she can. Yeah, it's a mess. Can someone who's read the rest of Tessa Bailet tell me if, like, her male characters in the other books are better? Because, like, I can't keep doing this. I can't. If I meet another dude that says, get ready to meet God, it's going to be done. It's going to be D-O-N-E. Done. Finished. Finito. Out. That's what it's going to be. Okay, so that wraps up my recent reads. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe and click that bell notification so you don't miss out on when I post. Comment if you've read any of these books, and if you loved them, if you hated them, let me know. And now, all that's left to say is bye-bye.